officially applied to about 50 jobs in the last 2 months, and every week I'm changing my strategy and doing something different. I have gotten back rejections from maybe 5, 6, 7 of them.
I just got denied from Walmart as a cashier.
American college graduates are facing the worst entry-level job market since the pandemic, with the underemployment rate reaching 42.5%.
I am currently struggling. I'm struggling with finding a job here in the United States.
I'm a little embarrassed to talk about this, but it's going to be relatable, and so you're not alone, okay? So I spoke way too soon. The job market is horrible. I'm definitely not going to have a full-time job in 30 days of being laid off. That was a joke. But like, for example, I had 6 people refer me into a role at OpenAI that I was a perfect fit for. I worked on my resume. I had my recruiting friends look at it. I had ChatGPT look at my resume. I was so excited. I've done this exact role at a massive company that has been super successful in the marketing space, still rejected from OpenAI with 6 referrals and the exact experience that job description was looking for. And that keeps happening to me at all of these companies. And I've worked at some of the best companies. I've worked at Meta, BCG, I have early stage startup experience. I have everything a company would want. I've been promoted throughout my career, literally have been a top performer at every place I've ever been at. And I just keep getting rejected left and right. It's almost comical at this point, but I'm actually stressed that I'm gonna have to move out of my apartment in New York because my rent is $5,500 a month, and I'm stressed. I'm stressed. So if anybody has any words of encouragement, let me know, because this girl is just down in the dumps.
The job market is terrible. No one can find work, and I just paid $6.29 a gallon for gas, but I have a $7 matcha that's gonna make it all better. Let's talk about it. I have had 6 interviews in the past month. I have had 7 interviews in the past month and a half. I got invited to do a second interview by 3 agencies. They have all 3 rejected me. I'm about to graduate with my master's in HR management and employment law in May, and I have no job prospects. I have been putting out my application like crazy, and honestly, this job market has been so tough for the past 2 years because I honestly believe that companies and agencies have been preparing since 2024 for this presidency. I do not think that I can continue to make it in Los Angeles as much as I have tried. I'm from the Valley. I can't continue to live in the Valley. It is ridiculously expensive, and I'm gonna have to make a really hard decision in the next few weeks of what I'm gonna do with my life. But when people talk about how bad the job market is, it's terrible. For one of the jobs, I even had to do a project, and the hourly rate was $28. And I asked them for more because I can't live off of $28 if I'm going to be commuting and moving my car, using my car and all those things. That is not a living wage in the state of California. So no one wants to pay, and it's not that people don't want to work, it's just we want to work for a living wage.
So I've been applying to jobs in LA recently, and that's been a mix of hospitality jobs and full-time jobs in social media and PR and stuff, and film, because film was my degree. But let me tell you, the job market, even in hospitality that I worked for a couple years, is so competitive in LA. I had multiple rounds of interviews for hostessing jobs, and then they ghosted me. Then I had a cafe hire me for 3 days, still haven't paid me, and ghosted me. Now I finally think, hopefully, landed a hostessing job after almost 2 months of trying to find just a regular hospitality job, but also networking with people I know in LA, getting referrals, and those referrals leading to straight rejection. So it's been tough out here. And so if anyone wants to refer me to any of their companies in LA, please let me know.
I just got denied from Walmart as a cashier. I have a fucking master's degree, bro. I went to school for 12 years, got my high school degree. I went to for 4 years to get my bachelor's, and then I went for an extra 2 years to get my fucking master's. You know how much school that is? It's a lot. And the worst part is, oh, maybe it's the best part actually. America, the government probably thinks it's the best part, huh? I'm $120 fucking thousand in debt. Yeah, because society wants to tell you to go to school, go to college, get your degree, Timmy. Oh my God, job security. Shut up. Please stop spreading that, because now I'm screwed and I have no idea what to do. I've applied to over 300 companies and I've gotten responses back from 11 of them. Why the fuck do you think I'm applying to Walmart to be a cashier? Because no one is hiring. Why do you even post a job offering if you're not gonna hire anyone or respond? What are people doing for work? I need to figure something out. Because if I wasn't doing UGC for brands that I found on SideShift, my ass would be homeless. I would be fucking homeless.
I don't know about your friend group, but everybody that I know is either laid off or they're unhappy in their job and they're looking for a new job. Like, the fact that it's so rare to have job satisfaction and job security means that something is wrong. Our generation is so cooked.
And I don't think you guys are ready to have the conversation about being so poor that you literally couldn't afford to get to an on-site job interview if you got one. 2.5. That's how many years I've been unemployed. 4,000. That's roughly how many job applications I've put in. 60. That's approximately how many interviews I've had. 4 interviews went the full cycle, from recruiter to final interview. 3. That's how many job offers I've received since December of 2022. Well, Melissa, if you received 3 job offers, why are you unemployed? I'm so glad you asked. One was a teaching position so far away that it would have cost me more to commute than I would have earned. The second one was fraudulent, meaning I talked to real people. I went through the entire process and signed an offer letter, only for them to ghost me and for me to realize that they were simply data harvesting for all of the exercises I did for them, and they wanted me to send them a check for equipment. That company later put a warning on their LinkedIn profile. The third one was to be a recruiter, only to be ghosted and find out from a LinkedIn post that the hiring manager who interviewed me made, congratulating the new hire, who was a college student, no tea, no shade, but they had only ever done an internship. I have 18 plus years sales management experience, specifically in tech, in SaaS, in cloud-based software sales. I have 2 master's degrees. I'm currently a PhD candidate. Well, why don't you just get a job, doing something you don't want to do until you... Shut up. I can't get a job at Trader Joe's. Do you know how many people apply to Trader Joe's on the daily? I asked the manager at my local Trader Joe's, what their experience was in terms of hiring. They have applications just backlogged, and they get at least 6 people that walk in the store every day asking for work. Oh, but why don't you get professional help with your... Don't. I've got 8 different resumes. Keyword optimized, customized, cover letters customized. Shut up. Do you not think we have tried everything? Do you not think applying for work is a full-time job? Especially when you are interviewing or attempting to interview with multiple places at the same time, okay? It's dehumanizing, and it's physiologically and psychospiritually exhausting to be unemployed this long. Looking for work costs money. I haven't had internet in my home since January of 23 because I can't afford it. So I rely on hotspots from the library, or I have to go to a cafe, which means I have to pay to sit somewhere to job hunt. I have had to miss 3 on-site job interviews over the past 2+ years because I couldn't afford to get to them. Had was to answer phones at an acupuncture clinic for 15 to 20 hours. Wait for it. A month. You are not crazy. It is that bad. People who have not experienced it will gaslight you. They will insult you. They will disrespect you, even people that love you, because they do not get it. You are competing with people that are more qualified and experienced than you for the same role. Just like people that are less experienced and qualified than me are competing with me for the same role. There is no such thing as an entry-level position anymore. Entry-level now requires multiple years of experience. What the fuck? It doesn't matter if you have degrees in your field. It doesn't matter if you have degrees at all. They don't care. They care if you can tell them what they want to hear. And that's only if the AI applicant tracking systems scan your resume and allow you to be put in front of a human for 10 seconds while they scan your resume and decide if you're a worthy candidate before tossing you aside. So when people come in my comments, when I'm requesting support for mutual aid, or I'm talking about my eviction, which I've actively been fighting since November without an attorney, and they say, well, why can't you just, move out? Or why are you unemployed? Well, first of all, if I can't afford rent, how can I afford to move? Okay? Riddle me that, Batman. Secondly, it's none of your business why anyone is unemployed, okay? But second of all, if you're unemployed and you have a gap in your resume, we all know how hard it is to explain a 3-month gap, a 6-month gap. Try explaining a 2+ year gap in your resume, bitch. No amount of bullshitting freelance work and focusing on your degree is going to explain away a 2+ year gap on your resume. Government and federal jobs get wiped off the face of the planet by a man who wants to colonize Mars and breed women for a living.
I've officially applied to about 50 jobs in the last 2 months, and every week I'm changing my strategy and doing something different. I have gotten back rejections from maybe 5, 6, 7 of them. The rest of them had said nothing to me. My first recruiter conversation with someone this week who is hiring for a contract role that pays not much more than I make. I haven't heard anything since, so I'm assuming that's also going nowhere. Oh my god, this is so exhausting. Now I get it when it's like I apply to a job that I'm not fully qualified for and a company's like, yeah, no, we can't do that. Granted, when I did that in 2021, I would still get interviews. Companies are not willing to take risks on anyone anymore, but they're also not willing to look at your resume even if you do fit the required qualification. Maybe you're not passing the ATS or you don't have a referral, there's something. So referrals don't even guarantee you a job, because I know jobs that had like 200 applicants and like 10 of them were referrals. So it really feels like winning the lottery that I would even get an interview. You go online and there's like 40 different pieces of advice from people who are recruiters, people who are also just job searching. The recruiters are telling you not to do what the people who are job searching are telling you to do. Everyone's like, you need to use AI, but like not like this. And the recruiters are like, please do not use AI. But like they're using AI too to filter out all the resumes. It's like, I should not have to intake like 40 pieces of advice and utilize them all in the correct manner to even get a recruiter call. It should not feel like winning the lottery to get an interview. And like all of the messaging is just like, you're not doing it right. You're not doing enough to get the job. Honestly, I just think the system is extremely broken right now. Long-term unemployment is at a high. And granted, I'm in a privileged position where I'm currently employed. I just know that I will be unemployed soon. So I have the privilege of getting to do this like months ahead of time and prepare and compound my momentum forward while I still have an income. So I can't imagine what this feels like when you're unemployed, because this is so draining and exhausting to me right now.
American college graduates are facing the worst entry-level job market since the pandemic, with the underemployment rate reaching 42.5%, its highest level since 2020. College students can't get jobs. Why? It's a confluence of factors: AI taking away entry-level jobs, war creating economic uncertainty, and of course reverberations from the pandemic. Hi, my name is Aisha. Welcome to my series Letters to the Editors, where I read articles and discuss them. Today we have an article by Maya Yang, I Feel Helpless. College graduates can't find entry-level roles in shrinking market amid rise of AI. This article gets firsthand perspectives from a bunch of different recent college graduates who are expressing frustration over the job process, over the job market right now in 2026. I chose this article because I personally relate to this struggle and I know how frustrating it is. And I think that I have a unique perspective as someone who has been on both sides of the market. As in, I was looking for an entry-level job. Out of college, I was looking for an entry-level job for over a year. That's how bad it was. And then more recently, I've been put in a position where I've been able to see the other side. I've been able to look at applications coming in. I've been able to see people discussing job applications and candidates and stuff like that. And with that knowledge, I just want to tell everyone, college level graduates that are looking for a job, please do not internalize all of the rejections and what seems like failure, because this shit does not make sense. This is not a science. You can have the best resume, you can have the qualifications, you can have the right attitude, you can do the interview prep, and you can still not get the job for the most random reason. You would be surprised how many employers are not picking the person who is the most qualified, but rather choosing people based upon vibes, based upon who they feel like they could be friends with. And obviously, if you're a part of any marginalized group in the United States, it's more difficult for you to come across as the kind of person. Sometimes people will pick somebody because they're like, this person reminds me of my niece. And of course, it's not always conscious, it's subconsciously. Like there's subconscious bias that exists when a person is thinking, oh, they want to be friends with this person, they want to have somebody that they can shoot the shit with at the water cooler. And the other thing is that in this job market, because there's so many applications, for an entry-level job, you can get 1,000 applications. There almost is no such thing as the most qualified because so many people meet what is the bare minimum of qualifications. All that to say, do not internalize that failure. I know it's extremely difficult. I did. When I tell you the year that I spent unemployed or partially employed was so difficult on my self-esteem, there are factors that are just completely outside of your control. And even for people who are not college graduates, who are not looking for entry-level jobs, it's extremely difficult to move careers right now. And to be quite frank, this is exactly why, and I say this like in every video, but this is exactly why we need a worker-led movement in the United States, because AI is coming whether or not we like it, and we need to have labor laws in practice that protect workers. And when I say that, what do I mean? First of all, I actually don't think that it should be allowed for employers to use AI to sort through resumes, especially because we know, like I was saying, that AI also has a racial bias. These AI systems, they're not created in a vacuum. They reflect, they're trained on content that reflects the biases that already exist in our society. And so I believe that companies should have a human being who is sorting through applications. Of course, that doesn't eradicate bias, but when we know that the systems that these AI companies are using are already biased, and not just that, but we should have more protections for workers that are searching for a job in general, such as I don't think that it should be allowed for a job listing to post without having the salary. Now, thankfully, in a lot of major cities, like in New York, for example, they have to post with the salary, but that needs to be a federal requirement because it's extremely disempowering for a worker who is searching for a job to have to go through this song and dance of, what is your salary? Oh, but what is your budget? Oh, but what is da-da-da? No, it needs to be the salary expectation upfront before you even apply. I also think that there should be regulation in how much unpaid labor a worker is required to do in order to go through the interview processes. Some of these job interviews, I was applying for entry-level jobs and regularly doing 4+ interviews. That did not used to be the case. So already, the amount of steps, maybe that's something that we could look into, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the projects and the essays and the work samples and the this and the that they want you to do to prove that you would be able to do the job adequately. In my opinion, there should be regulation for that. For example, I understand that in order to tell whether or not someone can do the job, you want to put them in a situation where it's this is the work that they would be doing. However, it is a conflict of interest to have people be doing unpaid labor for you in situations that are actual situations that happen in your company, in the sense that you could go and take that work and actually use it and not hire them whatsoever. And workers should be protected from having their work taken from them for no pay. Furthermore, you can tell I have a lot of opinions about this because these wounds are still fresh, okay? Furthermore, there should be standardization across job application platforms. It is such a waste of time to have to go and make an account. Some of these companies literally want you to make an account just to be able to apply with them, just so that you can take everything that's in your resume and put it in again for the 50th time that week. Shout out to, what is it called? I think it's called greenhouse.io, that application. Greenhouse.io. All companies should use greenhouse.io because it's simple, it's straight to the point. If a job listing has been up for more than 6 months, it needs to be taken down. For me, it's especially on LinkedIn, you will see that a company has gotten 1,000+ applications for a position, and yet you saw the position open in September, and it is now June of the next year, and the position is still open. This is a waste of time. I do think maybe companies should be penalized for having job listings open for too long. And when I say too long, I mean at least like I'm being generous here with 6, 7, 8 months. You couldn't find anyone? And then another point that I wanted to make, which is mentioned in this article, this is a quote from one of the college graduates who is looking for work. They say, decent paying jobs that are listed as entry level will often ask for candidates with 3 to 5 years of experience, an amount of time that simply cannot be achieved if one is fresh out of college. Most job descriptions make me feel so unqualified or underqualified, I won't even bother applying since I don't have years of experience to draw from. And this is another issue. I have a personal anecdote with this. I applied with an organization for an entry-level job, like straight out of college, an entry-level job, and I didn't get it. And I later found out that the person that got that job, the entry-level job, with an entry-level salary, mind you, had worked at that organization internally for 6 years. And it's like, it's not no shade like towards that person. It's more like we're both getting fucked actually, because you have way too much experience to be at this miserable salary. And on top of it, I am, as an entry-level candidate looking for entry-level jobs, am competing with people who are mid to late career. Like when I tell you, because I saw the LinkedIn post that was like, I got this job, and it's very much giving the enshittification of the job market. And this is such a funny thing with like the AI tech bros who love to say like AI is going to make everything so much easier and like we're all going to have so much free time and it's going to be amazing. It's like actually what is happening materially is that now workers need to have even more skills than before. Like they need to be fluent in being able to use these AI systems. However, their pay is comparatively getting worse. And on top of it, a large section of the workforce, especially for entry-level jobs, is being eradicated because it's being replaced with AI. So this whole like fantasy of like the AI world where like, oh, the robots get to do the work and we get to lean back. Yeah, maybe that could happen if it wasn't for the fact that corporate greed is taking over this country. And we need regulation, we need systems in place to actually protect workers. Tell me what you think about this article in the comments below. Are you a college graduate looking for an entry-level job? Tell us about your experience and we can all commiserate together.
I am currently struggling. I'm struggling with finding a job here in the United States. I come from Germany. I got my education there. I had my first full-time positions there. So right now I'm having a hard time. I'm at over 350 applications, all in the field of marketing, business development, and nothing has really worked out so far. I guess just gotta be patient, and it's a numbers game. At the end of the day, one of those applications probably will get me a position, and yeah, but just wanted to share some struggles, and it's not always shiny and nice. It's also okay to struggle sometimes, I guess.
Apparently everyone's thinking about quitting, but no one's brave enough to say it. That's what a new Gallup poll just found. More than half of U.S. workers are hunting for a new job, or at least keeping an eye out for a better one. Gallup found only 1 in 3 people feel motivated at work, and for the first time in the analytics firm's history, it says more people are struggling in life than thriving, even college-educated and young employees who are new to working. The harsh reality is most people can't leave. Pay, benefits, or finding an equivalent role keeps them stuck. So if you're quietly planning your exit, feel restless or burned out, you're part of a very crowded club. Download Fox Local for live streaming news and more.
Anyone else who is currently unemployed or applying for a job, once you finally get an interview on your calendar, just the first interview, you know, with like the recruiter, but your mind starts spiraling. You're like, oh my God, when I get this job, my life is going to change. My life is going to be so much better, like this and that. And then I have to like bring myself back to reality and be like, Amanda, that you haven't even had the job interview yet. The likelihood of you getting this job in this fucking job market is like 1 in a million. So don't get your hopes up. But of course I want to get my hopes up. I'm like, oh my God, please, like if I get this job, my life will finally be okay. But can't get your hopes up. Remind you, don't get your freaking hopes up.
Hiring rate is the worst since the COVID pandemic. February 2026 had the worst hiring rate since the COVID pandemic. February 2026. March 2026 will be worse. Every month will be worse. We are in a stagnant job market. People are not hiring. They are not creating jobs, and we have more people unemployed than jobs available. Warning, warning, warning. We are in an economic crisis. Our economy is collapsing every single day. If you found this post sad but informative, please like, comment, follow, and share for more economic news.